1, 2, 3.
This is a tutorial to show you a quick and helpful way to sort and organize video footage within projects. I'll be sorting footage in Adobe Premiere Pro, but you can use a similar method in most programs. As you probably already know, most videos are comprised of A-roll and B-roll. A-roll is the footage that tells the story. It usually contains audio, and for most OMF videos, it's usually in the form of interviews. B-roll is the observational footage that adds to a sequence, and it's sometimes used to cover up cuts between different takes. You want to make 2 bins, one for A-roll and one for B-roll. Put all A-roll clips in the A-roll bin and all B-roll clips in the B-roll bin. In your A-roll bin, if possible, further organize your raw footage by creating a folder for each interview subject. Next, we'll get into sequences. If you're using multiple interviews for a project, make a separate sequence for each person who's being interviewed. Store these sequences within the A-roll bin in the correct subjects folder. Then make a sequence for your B-roll. Store it in the B-roll bin. Now we're going to talk a little bit about sorting footage within sequences. On most video shoots, you generally end up with some footage that's totally unusable. Maybe your subject's not in focus, the footage is shaky, the shot's overexposed. So as you sort through your footage, it's really helpful to separate the usable footage from the unusable. However, you don't want to erase your unusable footage. Instead of deleting those clips, I use tracks as a tool to sort my footage. Begin by dragging all the footage you want to sort into a sequence. Start with all the footage on the first track, V1 and A1. Ultimately, this track will end up being kind of our trash track, the place where we leave all the unusable footage. Once you have your sequences with all the original footage, don't work within those sequences. Instead, always duplicate your sequence by right-clicking and choosing Duplicate. Once you've duplicated a sequence, rename it to keep it organized. This way, if you spend all day working on an edit and then decide you don't like it, you still have the original sequence to go back to. So start at the beginning of your sequence and press the space bar to play your video. When you get to a place that you'd like to make a cut, use the shortcut Shift-Command-K to splice all lines of footage. Now you can drag your footage to different tracks. Use the second track for footage that's usable but not really anything special. In an interview, I'll generally leave the questions on the first track and move all the answers to the second track. Save the third track for the very best footage. Maybe just a piece of B-roll that's really visually very interesting. Or in our interview example, it might be a really excellent sound clip that really captures one of the client's key messages. So that's basically the method of sorting. But there is one more thing I'd recommend doing, and that's to make cuts pretty frequently. For example, in a client interview, I've already mentioned that you may want to place a cut between the question and the answer. But I would also recommend cutting multiple times within the answer to kind of separate the different thoughts and ideas. Because that way you can easily pull just part of an answer to a different track depending on the usability of that clip. And if you change your mind at a later date, your clip's already cut into different beats, so you can kind of visually see where each idea begins and ends. So that's pretty much it. Good luck sorting your footage, and I'm sure you will kick some butt.